Hey guys, welcome to this next episode of the King Lincoln Show. Today I want to tell you about something. This episode is probably gonna be shitty and hard to make, but I want to tell you about something super vulnerable and personal that I haven't thought a lot about. I probably kind of repressed for a long time. And fuck it, I haven't done a whole lot of prep or anything. It's probably going to be all rambling, all over the place, but fuck it. I just got to make it. Let's just start. So I went to the same school my whole life, like all through primary and high school. And there was another girl who pretty much did the same thing. I think she left in we call it year 11. In America, it's probably called 11th grade or some shit. But yeah, she was pretty much there the whole time too. And um, when we were kids, we would just see each other around and stuff. But then when we grew up into adolescents, teenagers, she became just pretty much the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in real life. And to this day, we're a little bit older now. We're not fucking old, but we're a little bit older now. But she remains, yeah, like the number one, or definitely one of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen in real life. And just one of the most beautiful girls I've seen that I know of. Sounds so fucking weird to say, but anyway. So, a few little things happened with our history. Uh, at one point, she told me she had a crush on me in year one, which is when we're like 5 or 6 years old. So I was like, oh great, well I wish you had told me back then. Um, and a weird thing happened when we were in, I think it was year 5. This random fucking weird thing happened where someone found a note, or a little piece of paper that had our names on it, in a love heart. And there was a big thing with oh, who did that? Who, the teacher was like, who did it? Who wrote this? And it turns out some other girl wrote it, apparently, and the girl got in trouble for it. And the teacher was all the teacher brought us outside, me and the girl I'm talking about, and this other girl who wrote this note. And she was getting all angry at the girl who supposedly wrote the note. And she was like, matching up two people, that's so bad, blah, blah, blah. And I was kind of thinking, this is really weird. And why is that bad? I mean, you can say it's, maybe it's a bit awkward or not good, but getting really angry over that as a teacher is retarded. I don't get how that is a super bad thing to do. But anyway, it was just a weird little episode. And then when we were kind of more, I was still a kid then. I wasn't, super into girls or anything yet. But then when we were in high school, I started to really like this girl. And we were really good friends. She was one of my best friends. Like, even in the high school and stuff, I feel like I didn't have super, super close friends, as close as some people have. But I did have some kind of, I guess you would call close friends or good friends. And she was definitely one of them. She was one of my best friends. But yeah, I really, really liked her. Um, But, you know, like, I wasn't really confident. I wasn't very confident, and I definitely didn't know what to do with girls. Like, I didn't know what to do about girls. I had, like, really low self-esteem and all that. Once I got into high school, when I was in primary school, I was more of a quiet kid and stuff. When I started getting into, like, year 7 and then high school, I started to be kind of, cooler because I realized I was funny, or I could be funny. I had the ability to be funny. Um, so yeah, so I started to really like this girl, and we were like good friends and all that. But yeah, like my parents, my dad never took me aside and like taught me anything about like girls or anything like that. Like no one taught me anything about it. To be fair, I should have proactively like learned. I should have asked someone or something. But I didn't, and I didn't like know what to do. I I don't know what I thought. Like maybe I kind of thought that if you just like, if you really like a girl and you guys like are friends and stuff and you spend time together, like something just magically starts happening. But I think the go-to move at that age, like when you're like at the beginning of high school, like as a teenager, is that you ask them out. You say like the magic words like, "Will you go out with me?" And then they basically say yes or no. So yeah, either that or you make like a physical move, at some point you like lean in and kiss them or something. But kind of didn't, I think I kind of didn't know that you were supposed to do that. And also, like, no way did I have the confidence or self esteem to actually go for that. So I guess circumstances led to it, but I guess I was kind of a pussy at that age, at least with that. So, yeah, we were really good friends. Like, she was so beautiful. Um, we spent quite a bit of time together and stuff. Like, saw each other every day at school. Would hang out and stuff. We would talk a lot, and back in those days, back in my day, there was something called MSN Messenger, and basically it's a thing where you go in and it's like a chat thing. You chat to your friends on there, and we would talk on there like in evenings. We would talk on there for like hours. I can't remember what we used to talk about, but just everything. We would just like chat on there for hours. Um, and yeah, but what happened was, I think it was in year 8, maybe 9, I think 8. Uh, she said she liked this other guy, and I thought she liked me. Like, I thought we were like on the road to like, getting together or whatever. And she certainly like led me on as if that was the case. She acted as if that was the case. And maybe it was just entirely on me for not like making the move or like not knowing how to do that or being too much of a bitch to do that. But I really think I didn't know what I was supposed to do as well. But anyway, so to change the names for like privacy sake or whatever, we'll call this girl Sophie and we'll call this guy Simon. And when I learned that she liked Simon, I was really confused because there was 2 Simons at our school. And like one, I was thinking, okay, that doesn't seem like someone she would like. That's a bit odd. And the other one was like, well, she definitely doesn't like that guy. It can't be that guy because that's just insane. Because this guy was like, he was very confident, but he was basically like a crazy person. Like, in those days, he said like they said he had ADD. He had really bad ADD. Um, and he reminded me a bit of, you know, the drummer. I think he's called Animal Drummer from the Muppets. That like crazy Muppet that bangs the drums and is all like, blah, blah. That's kind of who he reminded me of. Or a bit like Tassie Devil, you know, the Tasmanian Devil from the Looney Tunes, who like just spins around and like makes big messes and it's all like, blah, blah, blah. He reminded me a bit of that guy or that character. He was really confident. He was very like sure of himself, but he was also extremely impulsive and retarded and just like kind of insane, like really ADD and insane. But I do know girls like confidence. And also it was kind of gross, like just I don't know. It was just weird looking, often had bad skin, had like a snotty nose. I was like, You can't like that guy. What? It must be the other one, right?" But that's also a little bit weird that you like that guy. But I realized no. I learned no, she actually does like this fucking animal guy who we're calling Simon. And I was basically shattered. I was basically heartbroken. Like I already kind of hated school, but after that I just hated school so much. Like, yeah, my little heart was just shattered into 1,000 pieces. And I really didn't know what to do. Like that shit was just like too much for me. My poor little brain, my poor little heart or whatever. Sounds so gay. I feel so fucking gay telling this story, but I feel like I gotta tell it. So this Simon guy was actually, I was actually good friends with him too. But to me, he was like a funny, crazy guy. Not a fucking guy like a girl would like. And he was my friend, but I would also say he wasn't really the best guy. Like, it was just because of his fucking ADD. He was all impulsive and like didn't think things through, didn't think about what he did or said. He was always in trouble with school. Like, he didn't do his schoolwork. Yeah, he's always getting like suspended and shit. Just not like an amazingly good guy, like, which is not kind of not his fault. That's just how he was. And yeah, definitely not someone you would think, oh, he's so attractive. Um, but I know girls do really like confidence, so I guess you can kind of put it down to that. But the thing is, at that time, he said he didn't like girls. He was like, oh, I'm not interested in girls. But she liked him and she pursued him. And I had to watch this shit. I had to be there for this shit. And this shit was so painful. Like, I remember must have been the first time she started doing it. And I think this might have been when I realized, like, when I understood, no, it's not the other Simon, it's this Simon. We were on the school oval and he was doing some random thing. He was like throwing around a chair. That's the type of shit he would do. Like, that is a, yeah, stereotypical thing for him to be doing. He was like throwing around this chair and like fucking up the grass with the chair and just kicking it around and like throwing it and flipping it and shit. And she and her, I think one or two of her friends were just like came up to her and came up to him and was just like standing there and being just asking him questions. I think that's when I realized, no, it's this guy. She's talking about this guy, not the other one. She was just like, what are you doing? Oh, that's interesting. why are you doing that? Like, just asking him questions and stuff. And yeah, I just felt my heart sinking. Like, oh, this is just the worst, man. Why am I doing this? But yeah, so anyway, it turned into this really fucked up situation that lasted the whole of high school pretty much. That's part of why high school was hell for me, and I just hated school and like just hated life. Because they started going out and I was still going to the same school. And I guess I kept hoping like it was some kind of cosmic joke, like it was some kind of like awful mistake or bad dream. And like it was just this silly phase and they were gonna like stop going out or something. But that didn't happen. And here's the fucked up thing. I was good friends with this guy. I would like, I would hang out with him. I would hang out with him like, in a group of friends. I would go over to his house, sleep over to his house, and it would just be like him and me just like doing random adolescent stuff, like doing little adventures and things and hanging out. So I was good friends with this guy, but I was still good friends with her. And this is really fucked up to admit, but remember, I'm like a teenager at this stage and I don't really understand this stuff. She kept really leading me on and almost acting as if we were going out too. Ah, fuck. And he didn't know this. So we were kind of going behind his back. I was still really good friends with him, but then we were kind of doing almost like relationshipy stuff behind his back. But I was just continuing to be friends with him and continuing to do that and continuing to be like, she would complain about him and stuff and like say how he didn't treat her good and he wasn't a nice guy and all this stuff. And I'll be like, well, yeah, you should break up with him. Like, he's no good. But I was still friends with him. It's really bad. And it's extremely unlikely that anyone from those times is going to find this and listen to this. But I just want to say for the record, I am sorry for doing that. And I would have handled the entire situation in like totally differently nowadays. And I know that's like wrong to do. So yeah. But yeah, they kept going out. It kept being horrible. Just my fucking heart was just like torn apart every day. Um, but we would keep chatting for hours on MSN in the evenings. And she would complain about him and I would like say, oh yeah, he's like no good. But she would never actually break up with him. And she would lead me on, like she would like, hug me and like give me a kiss on the cheek. So fucking gay. She'd sit on my lap and like talk to me and stuff and like we'd hang out. We'd even go on what were basically dates. Like we'd go to the movies or I remember being at her house a few times and we'd go out places, go out to the city and go to like cafes and stuff. We'd do all this stuff like, but I guess I told her how much I liked her and all this stuff. But I don't know what she thought about that. Like, did she think I was joking? Did she think, I don't know, I didn't mean it? I really don't know how she kind of justified it all in her mind. But yeah, one thing I never did was I never made like a physical move. And maybe like in terms of these kind of things, maybe that's what I was supposed to do. But I literally didn't know. I thought it just eventually happens at some point. Like I guess I thought you don't need to actually do something like that. Like if you spend enough time together and stuff, eventually, you just start going out. I wasn't even interested like in the like a physical part of it. I was just so like infatuated with her. I just wanted to be around her. I just wanted to yeah, be around her and talk to her and um just like look at her face, stare at her face. She's just so beautiful. So there were times when they broke up, but I still didn't ask her out. I mean, it was always felt kind of wrong. It's like, okay, they've just broken up. I can't just be like, well, go out with me instead then, you know? And I still didn't make a move. And I guess I would think about it, but I'd be too much of a little bitch to do it. But then they would get back together again. And my heart would be like broken all over again. And yeah, we had lots of little dramas and episodes that I could try to remember and go into, but that was basically like the whole of high school pretty much. Um and she never really stopped leading me on and liking my attention and stuff. I guess it makes sense from an incentives point of view because it's like, okay, well, you got this one kind of shitty guy that you actually go out with and he's all like confident and cool and stuff, even though he's kind of retarded. And then you have this stupid little bitch guy who actually, you know, like talks to you about deep things and like spends so much time with you and is like all nice and stuff. Well, why wouldn't you want both? Why wouldn't you want the validation of both? The emotional validation and the attention of both. Why would you cut one off and just choose one? Even though that's the right thing to do. Yeah, why not? Why not make my whole fucking high school like hell? Why not fucking play with my feelings like that? Why fucking not? But I shouldn't have had such a scarcity mindset and I shouldn't have just like kept doing that. I should have just been like, okay, well, it's one girl out of millions. She's going out with this guy, so fuck it. I'll find a different one. But I didn't know all that at that time. Like I didn't realize. I understand now that how how strongly you feel about a particular girl is basically a function of how attractive they are or how attracted to them you are, how much time you spend together or how much you see them, and what the what type of things do you do when you're spending time together? What is the quality of that interaction? It's basically like an equation, it's a function of that. So you shouldn't get stuck on one girl as if like, oh, this is the only girl for me. It's just an equation. If you find like a girl who is similarly attractive, you spend a similar amount of time with her, and the quality of that um, interaction is, you know, kind of similar, you will start to develop the same kind of feelings and stuff for this different one. They are, this probably sounds terrible, but they are to a certain extent interchangeable. And I went to a really small school and I didn't realize that, look, you get attracted to any attractive girl. Like, there weren't that many nice girls at my school. This was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen. And I didn't realize there's lots and lots of pretty girls, and anyone that you start interacting with and spending time with, you'll start feeling attracted to her. It's not the be all and end all with one girl. Like, just don't be ridiculous. But I literally did not know that at that time. I thought it has to be this girl. Like, it's this girl or just nothing, which is really stupid in hindsight. But I was a kid or a teenager. I had only been exposed to so much and I didn't know that. Um, so yeah, the whole thing was fucking awful. And yeah, It made high school hell. Um, yeah, so many little like kid dramas and stuff. And I remember we went on a school trip and like I remember her friends saying like, you always stare at her. Like you look at your friends, then you look at her. Then you look at your friends for a minute, then you look at her for a minute. Like you're always staring at her. And yeah, I was infatuated. I was obsessed. And she kept leading me on with it and stuff. And yeah. And the thing is, this is a really like fucked up kind of psychological thing, but it's a real phenomenon. Basically, what I was creating was a repeat of the situation with my mom. And this is a thing that guys actually do. They create situations that mirror the relationship with their mother. It's like a documented psychological thing. So with my mom, um, think about it. Like my mom was like a really nice lady or whatever. And I just wanted to be with her. I just wanted to be around her all the time. And I didn't want anyone to come between us. And being with her and having her there for me was like being safe to me. This is as a real little kid. And there was a bad guy, my dad, who was in the way of that and who was a danger to that. And he also had a claim on her time and attention, but he was crazy and bad. And it would have been better if he wasn't around, but he was. And he was like a disturbance to the kind of ideal situation that I wanted. I just like wanted to just like, yeah, be safe with her, with my mom or whatever. But I couldn't because of him and because she would just keep going away and denying me attention. Like I explained with my headaches, how I was in heaps and heaps of pain, having these migraines as a kid. I wanted her to just like stay there and comfort me, but she would leave. Or when she left me at playgroup with the other kids, she left and it was like this big betrayal. And she would always be leaving, and I would just wish she would just like stay there with me and keep me safe type thing. It's the exact same situation. I really like this beautiful girl. I just want it to be her and me, just spending time together, like in this kind of cocoon or whatever. But no, there's this kind of bad, crazy guy who's in the way, and she keeps going away, and she gives me attention, but then she denies me attention. I can never just have her to myself. I can never just have her like just me and her, you know? So I don't really know how it all works, but that is a true thing. We recreate in our lives the situations from our childhood, and men create situations that mirror their situation with their mom. They do that with other women. And that's basically what I was doing with this girl. And it's also clear in hindsight, and the solutions all seem so simple in hindsight, but it wasn't at the time. It really wasn't. So, she left our school, I think, in about year 11 or something. But she would come back periodically, like she'd come back for certain like little programs and just to visit. And I would still see her, and I would still kind of see her outside of school and stuff. And I think also, if I remember, the guy, Simon, who she was going out with, um, he left our school earlier. So for some years, it was like he wasn't actually at the school. He went to do some kind of apprenticeship or something. And it was just her and me at the school. But yeah, me, fucking stupid little idiot. I mean, I still couldn't do anything. I don't know what the fuck was going on. Anyway, so yeah, we kept being friends and we kept in touch even after we left school. Um and sometimes she was going out with this guy, sometimes she broke up with him, and I was like, "Oh my god, like I'm going to make a move or something." And then they would get back together or just different random stuff happened. But I was always too much of a bitch or too dumb to actually ask her out, to actually make a move, or it just never eventuated. It was too much pressure. I was too much of a bitch. My confidence and self-esteem were too low. Like, I don't know. Or maybe I thought it would just eventually happen magically. So, when I was, must have been, I can't remember when it was exactly. I think I had some kind of birthday or some kind of celebration where, um, I invited her like as a friend, but I was going out with a different girl by now. This is when I was in uni, university. And so Sophie, this girl I've been infatuated with like my whole life basically, she gave me this book. It was like a notebook, like a blank book. And it was like leather bound and it had an inscription on it in, I think it was Spanish. And I don't know it in Spanish, but what it translates as is we're like angels with one wing, only together can we fly. Um, and she wrote me a note which basically said, so I was at that time I was into writing stories about like fantasy stuff like wizards and dragons, and like I was into all sorts of funny stuff like that. And she wrote a letter, like wrote a note that said, um I got you this book, I thought you would like it, like maybe you can write some of your stories about wizards and dragons in it. I want to say sorry because I messed up our relationship, and I know I did, and I'm like really sorry for that. Yeah, that meant a lot to me that she said that. I mean, it didn't really take away all those years of pain and heartbreak, my poor little adolescent heart, but that did mean something to me. But she also said once I was going out with this other girl, she also said something about like that it was like it was strange for her me going out with this other girl, cuz it before that it felt like I was always there, which in a practical sense I always was kind of there to like chat with her or like support her or whatever. Classic friend zone shit. But I kind of don't like that because it's like, what am I, your backup plan? Like, how can I always be there, but you never actually like make me number one. You never actually choose me. And that is actually really hurtful, you know? It's like I'm just a resource. Like, you never like me or care about me enough to actually go out with me and like say no to everyone else, but I'm always there, am I? All right, great. Thanks for that. I'll just be your emotional support. I'll just be your fucking backup. Thanks a lot. And I'll tell you some of these other stories properly another time, but I had this Milo tin because I loved Milo, but I had this empty Milo tin, and I think it was on the last day she was going to be at our school before she left. I kept seeing her after that, but it was the last day before she left our school or something. She gave me some stuff. She gave me, I think it was a hair clip out of her hair, and a little corner of her dress, like her school skirt. She like cut it off and gave it to me. It was like this little square of this checkered skirt. And she gave me a rose petal and she wrote, "I love you." Um, yeah, she wrote, "I love you" in marker on it. And it was like a fresh petal, but yeah, then, over time it wilted and got all crunchy, but I still kept it and I kept it intact. And I kept it for ages. Kept that shit for ages and ages. Um, so I can't remember the exact history of how we like the last few times we saw each other, but um I remember I saw her just randomly one day after not seeing her for quite some time. I forget the exact details. I ran into her randomly and it was weird because there was still chemistry there. We were just like talking and chatting. Like I saw her at a grocery store and she was like, "Oh, what did you buy?" And she like looked in my shopping and she's like, "Oh, it's very healthy." And I was like, "Yeah, what did you buy?" And I looked in hers. I'm like, "Okay, butter and a muesli bar. Okay. Interesting. Interesting choices." And we were just like chatting. Um, and she had to go back to work. I think she worked around there. And I was like, "All right, I'll see ya. You better go back to work. You better go." And she was like, "I don't want to." Yeah, there was still like something between us. I don't know. She said she fucked it up, but I fucked it up so bad, man. I fucked it up so bad. Had so many chances. Like, I just couldn't get it together. I don't know why. She was so beautiful the whole time from when I first got interested in girls when we were, 15, 16, to the last time I saw her when we must have been about maybe 22 or something. I don't know. So there was that time. And then, okay, I may as well tell you this now. I went overseas and I had a really, really bad time and I had some really bad problems. And then I saw her again after that. We went out to dinner, and I told her, and she was like, "Why didn't you tell me? Oh my God, why didn't you tell me?" Like, because I guess I hadn't contacted her, or like, yeah, I guess she would have tried to help me if I told her about all those problems when I was overseas. But we were there, we had dinner together, um, and I kept being like, "Well, what do you want to do now?" And she kept being like, "I don't know, I don't know." Like, I was supposed to lead the situation. So I took her to the beach and we were just like, it was evening. We were just like sitting at the beach and like chatting and stuff. Should have kissed her, shouldn't I? I don't know. I guess I just thought like, things will just lead into each other without me having to do this like big nerve wracking move or something. Big mistake. But anyway, and yet she was single at that time, if I remember correctly. So that must have been one of the last times I saw her. I think the absolute last time I spoke to her, I think I talked to her on Facebook after not talking to her or anyone from those times after a long time. I just asked her what she was up to. And she said she was moving to Canada or something. And just in a not really serious way, just in a like funny way, I was like, oh, cool, I should come visit you. And she just didn't reply. She just left me on red. I don't know how old we were then, 22, 23, 24. I don't remember. But I think she started going out with this like big guy with his big, wide, muscly back. They probably got married. Who knows? I don't fucking know. I'm over it, like in a conscious sense. I don't think about this during the day, you know? I don't like ruminate over this. I'm over it on a conscious level. But this shit really affected me and formed me, like in my formative years. First, this abandonment type shit happened with my mom, and then this chick. And that was my whole growing up period from like 15 to adulthood. A lot of it was about this like beautiful, beautiful girl. Seemed to like me so much, but wouldn't actually go out with me. Kept leading me on, but then would leave, wouldn't go out with me. And there was always something in the way. She was there, she was right there, but she was inaccessible to me. Boo fucking who, right? So fucking sad. This little bitch doesn't even know how to ask a girl out or fucking kiss a girl. Fucking stupid bitch. Me being the bitch. Little bitch that I was. But yeah. And I'll tell you one more thing. This is super embarrassing, but all through my life, even way after those times, every now and then I have a dream about her. It's like she's stuck like deep in my psyche. As much as, you know, as much as your mom or dad or one of your siblings is a part of your psyche, she's stuck in there. She's stuck in my psyche. And even now, now and then, she'll be in my dreams. And even recently, because I was thinking about making this episode, I had a dream about her. Yeah. Anyway. Anyway. Um. Anyway, there's more stories and stuff I could tell you. I mean, if I think of them on this topic, or if I feel like I should tell them, I'll tell them later. Um. But yeah, that's a real big part of my history in my life, I think. And it's not good. I wish I had different stories to tell. I wish I had been formed in a different way. What that did to my confidence and my self-esteem and all that, even though you could say it was kind of my fault in many ways, was really not good. My parents, that situation, and then this. Now though, I'm a fucking dog with women. I just fuck them now. My heart has been destroyed. My heart is stone now. I just fuck them. I'm ruined. Like I don't think I'm even capable of like a relationship or anything anymore. I don't think I'm capable of being faithful, just having one bitch. I just fuck now. That's all I'm capable of. My emotional and social maturity, like that's all I can do. I'm pretty deep. I've got pretty good reviews for fucking though, so at least there's that. And I have fucked a lot of girls. But that is its own kind of death or defeat, you know? The death of my fucking feelings. What else? Anything else? Yeah. So if I would take some kind of lesson from this, I would say learn social skills. Learn what to do with women. Be proactive about it. Learn to get good with girls. Don't get stuck on one girl. Realize it's just an equation. How attracted to her are you? How attractive is she? How much time have you spent together? And what is the quality of that time together? That's the equation that tells you how much feelings you have about a certain female. And there are loads and loads and loads of beautiful girls out there. And when you're a guy, to get them, looks do help. Money definitely helps, but also being cool. If you know how to be cool, you know how to act, you know how to talk to women, um, you can get, you can get girls, you can get a girlfriend, you can fuck girls, you can find a girl you really like. You can do that stuff. Like it's all possible for the vast majority of us dudes or whatever. So yeah. And if I went back in time, firstly, if I went back in time to before those two went out, Sophie and Simon, um, or one of the times when they weren't going out and I had a chance, I would have made the fucking move. I would have made the fucking move. Either it worked or it didn't. I wouldn't have been such a little bitch. So don't be a bitch. Take the shot. Yeah, don't bitch out. Don't be so pussy and shy like I was. Don't do that shit. It's not good for you. If you take an L, just take the L and move on. And don't have a scarcity mindset. And if the shit was just going on and there was just no hope for me, you know what I would have done? I would have got my parents to switch my schools. I would have said, you know what? I'm not going back to that school. If you make me go to the school, I'm just going to sit there. I'm not going to do any work. So no matter what you say, I'm either doing no schoolwork and just fucking truanting, just walking out of the school when you send me there, or I'm going to a different school. I would just leave the situation. That's what I would do. So yeah, that's enough about that. This did kind of suck to make, and it's really fucking embarrassing and awkward to talk about, but it's a really significant chapter of my life, unfortunately. If I feel like telling more stories and shit about this, I maybe will in the future if I feel like I need to. So I guess I'll wrap it up there. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you maybe got something out of it. And please, please, please don't repeat my mistakes. So that's it for the King Lincoln Show for today. And I'll see you guys later.